getting to where we are as politicians, sometimes we forget that it is the same as a business, that you need mentorship, that you need performance coaching. So what are we doing as a sector to be able to support the women that may be next to us having political ambitions, or the women currently in office? Let us not always look at them as people who have reached and now we're not doing anything to support them, because believe me, the mentorship is not necessary for just the young girls. The mentorship is not necessary for just business leaders. Political leaders need it too. We need to call the challenges by name and say, how is it that we're going to be addressing the various issues that happen within society that will then limit your participation in the sector, the governance sector, I will call it. But aside from the sex, which we would basically term as the gender-based violence, let us talk about workplace harassment. Let us talk about the difficulties experienced by women once they start scaling these levels of leadership. Let us talk about the psychological trauma that the men inflict on them, and fellow women too, when they get to these levels. Because once we start naming these challenges, then we'll be able to address them suitably. We're told that if you don't step up for leadership, I'm paraphrasing here, but if you don't step up for leadership, then you shall be led by an idiot, and then a fool. And you will sit back and still ask, why is it that this is happening? So I will want to challenge you and say that we have to start looking at how, as professionals, you're providing significant input to the discourse that is happening, not just in the bar. Let it not be bar talk. Not just in the church parking lot. Not just in your salon as you're sitting getting your hair done and your nails did. Let it be an actual conversation that you can go out and publish documents as an institution, as IHRM, that this is our stand. We're talking about the public wage bill right now, that it shall raise from, if we have all of these nominated positions and we have all of this deputy minister and Griwu and leader of opposition and the rest who would raise our wage bill. What is your position? What are you advising the Salaries and Remuneration Commission? What are you advising the president himself on how to look at some of these matters? How is what we're proposing going to be impacting our future generations within public service? Like I said earlier, when you're positioning yourself for politics, for example, or leadership, it has to be about something that you're about, not just about the position. And if truly politics in this country is going to change to be a calling and not about a long-term career for nothing, standing for nothing, then it means that as professionals, you truly need to raise your voices on these matters. I had also chosen to challenge the notion that women are our own worst enemies, because that is something that is promulgated all over the place, that when we sit here as women, once we get out of here, we will be fighting each other. Once we get out of here, we will not be promoting each other. I want to ask you, wherever you are, wherever you're from, please go back and hold the hands of at least 2 women. Support them emotionally, mentally, where you can, financially, and welcome to Taita Taveta, if it is on the financial part, to hold my hand. It is necessary to be able to stand together as a group and challenge the patriarchal notions that exist and that have been putting us back for centuries and decades. If we're going to truly succeed as women, and if we're truly going to grow and challenge the barriers that exist for women in our country.
One of the assumptions is what the Deputy Governor is talking about, age and societal expectations, that for a woman, she has to be of a certain age, she should be married, she should have children, she should have, kukoma, have lived for a certain period of time for them to take up political positions. That is one. Another one is that women are not even political leaders. Yeah, they have to be given those opportunities and not work for them like any other person or the male counterparts. So we're saying as women, we embrace the affirmative action and the opportunities that are there in our political setup. But we're also saying we are equal to the task. We can compete just like the men. We have the capacity to do that. And women of whatever age, whatever culture, can take up leadership positions.
Yes, last answer is
we earn 32% less. Huko nyuma tunasema that we are trying to change, and this is what I am hoping personally by the end of how exactly are we 23% only sitting in the boards? They are not there.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm Jambo. Karibuni. Shall start? I shall present the professional members, women. This is your time present. Good morning. It's a pleasure for me to stand in front of you, right?
Okay.